I'm in a bit of dilemma whether to start this with me laughing and joking because I'm trying not to laugh at the moment, or whether to start it on a more serious note. Justin said that if CW only killed his wife, then 15 years would have been enough time. So it's all right to kill the bish, but not the kids. He doesn't value the lives of women. And even though I agree with a lot of what he said in that video, and I'm proud of that video, I'm proud of the things that he said in that video, particularly about Chris Watts, I find it very offensive as a woman for a man to say that if a wife isn't flawless, then he should be able to take her out, off her, and only get 15 years. Bros before hoes, kill the bish, but not the kids. Do you understand now why I think he's a sexist misogynist? And I still like him very much. But that was very offensive, Justin. So if you don't scratch Miss Mensa's back, if she can't manipulate and influence you, then she has no soup for you. That was a bad joke, and I'm not even trying to be funny. But, you know, I listened to Miss Mensa and her sidekick Star Mama. I would say she was just, I noticed that a lot of the women that Miss Mensa and Star Mama bitch about, because that's what their channel is. Miss Mensa channel is just a gossip channel. It's not a true crime channel. It's just gossiping, mostly about women that they don't like. And I noticed that most of the women that they gossip about that they don't like are younger women that are younger. But Cindy Watts, who is their age, or Miss Mensa's age, closer to her age, she's just put on a pedestal, isn't she? I mean, Miss Mensa just puts Cindy Watts on such a pedestal, and she's back to love bombing Cindy Watts once again. I just find it very interesting. And Star Mama said how much she doesn't like me, basically. And apparently, if I'm wearing a low-cut top, then my brain goes out the window, and I have no right to speak on sexism. My brain apparently disappears, or a woman's brain apparently disappears if she's wearing a low-cut top. Absolute nonsense, absolute rubbish. I think Miss Mensa is obsessed, but we'll get into that. We'll get into that later on in this podcast. This is just the beginning. This is just the intro. One of the things that I love about this channel is that I don't take sides, and I'm not on any one single road. So that means that I can be objective and I can be fair and balanced. And there's some shade of grey. Unfortunately, that's also to my detriment, because people like it when your opinion is extreme. And my opinions are usually very, very balanced. For example, even my political affiliation. I'm socially more democratic, but I'm fiscally more conservative. So even in that sense, I'm not on one side. And this is how I feel about many things that I discuss. I might dislike a lot of things that somebody says, but it doesn't mean that I necessarily dislike them just because I don't agree with a lot of things that they say. I don't subscribe to this idea. I'll critique and I'll criticize, but I can still say, even if I don't like what someone's saying, I can still say, I see that person's point. I can still say, hey, that person has charisma or charm. I can still say, I don't agree with anything this person says, but that person is very articulate in the way they put their points across. When it comes to somebody like Miss Mensa, if you don't completely subscribe to her way of thinking, if you question her, if she realizes that she cannot manipulate you, that's when she has no use for you. And that's what's so delicious about what I'm going to tell you right now. I've spoken about Justin Lee on this channel, and I've told you I like him a lot. I've also told you when I've been disgusted with him. I've also told you that I think that he's sexist and misogynistic. And I've also told you that I think he has boatloads of charisma, that I think he's intelligent, that I think he has so much charm, it will knock your socks off. Because I'm objective. I listen to him and I look at him and I go through a range of emotions. I'm not just one-sided when it comes to him. I don't think he's totally bad, and I don't think he's anywhere near good. I'm objective. I'm fair and balanced. I think he's extremely intelligent. I think some of his videos are extremely powerful, extremely logical. I see where he's coming from. That video that he did on Shanann's mum was very, very powerful. And he told me, I'm going to do a pro video on Shanann, and I'm going to prove to you, this is what he said to me, I'm going to prove to you that I can be fair. And I thought, what's the catch here? Because he's just been bashing Shanann. So how is he going to go from bashing Shanann to being pro Shanann? And when he put that video out on Shanann's mum, and he talked about how she used certain words, when he talked about how she talked about herself, and when he used video footage to show examples of what he meant, even though I didn't like it, I thought that some of what he said was very, very powerful. And I'm saying this to my detriment because I will defend Shanann with my last breath. And I do not like it when people bash her. But I agree with a lot of the things that Justin said in that video. I don't agree with everything that he said. And I take issue with him bashing the family. But the way he puts his content together, the way he emotes is extremely powerful. This is not a stupid man at all. And a lot of my subscribers do not like him. And there's a lot of things that I do not like about him. But he has something inside that is just so unique and powerful and special. I wouldn't be able to explain it to you in words. There is something about him. He's not stupid. He's no fool. He does make some valid points at times. Now, what I want to get to is Miss Mensa and how she turns on people when she's not able to manipulate and control their mind. And I really love how Justin brought this up in one of his latest videos. He posts regularly, so it won't be a recent video by the time I put this podcast out. But he spoke to Miss Mensa in his recent video saying, Miss Mensa, why are you in a rivalry or in competition with somebody else that's giving me information? Miss Mensa was flattering Justin because he was dragging Shanann, and she thought, here's somebody that I can control and manipulate. And when she realized that Justin was getting information from another source, she didn't like that at all. It's the same way she dealt with the Watts. When Miss Mensa realized that the Watts were in communication with Kim Kaufman and Lana, she didn't like that other people were influencing them. She wanted to be the only one influencing them. She wanted to be the only person that they listened to, that they took advice from. And she wanted to be the only person in control. She's a manipulator. And that's what she tried to do with Justin. She was so happy when he came on the scene. And he's not new. A lot of people think he's new. He had a channel and he's been posting on that channel for quite some time before he started on the Watts case. In fact, he's been around longer than I have. I opened an account in 2011, but I didn't start posting until later. But anyway, Miss Mensa was giving Justin information and she was trying to control him. She was trying to manipulate and control him like she does with her own subscribers. And with anyone she can dig her fingers into. She's done it with me. She's tried to manipulate me. And she's tried to feed me information and tell me things. And when I questioned her or tried to decipher the validity of her claims, she got upset. Because if you do not subscribe to her way of thinking, then she has no use for you. So she got upset with Justin because he was taking information from somebody else and not only listening to what Miss Mensa was telling him. How juvenile is that? As if we're in high school. She didn't want him getting information from anybody else because as far as Miss Mensa was concerned, the person giving him information was giving him the wrong information. The hypocrisy of that is just blowing my mind. Miss Mensa is somebody who has made up so many lies about this case that she can't even keep track of her own lies. This is a woman who said that Shanann was 42 when she was murdered. And what evidence does Miss Mensa have that Shanann was 42? Her style of dress and the type of shoes that she had in her wardrobe. That's the evidence that Miss Mensa claims proves that Shanann was older than she claimed. That's no evidence. She doesn't have a birth certificate, nothing. Just phantom speculations. She claims that Shanann was supposed to be moving on the day that Shanann was murdered, when it's obvious that no one was moving anywhere. What's Miss Mensa's evidence for that? Oh, there was boxes and a truck outside. That's the evidence that she has. She doesn't give room or any speculation as to whether that truck was for another house. That truck could have been for another house. The boxes could have been for something completely different and had nothing to do with moving. You know, when I've got boxes and then there's a truck outside my door, that normally means I'm getting a delivery. But for Miss Mensa, that means that Shanann was moving. Christopher, it's wave. It was moving day on the day that Shanann was murdered. Shanann was about to lose custody of her children, which is absolutely not true. Shanann had 2 other children besides the children that she had with Chris. Absolutely not true. She's told lie after lie about Shanann, but she wants to be in control of the lies. She wants to be in control of the narrative, and she did not like that Justin was being fed information from another source, from somebody else. She wanted to be the only one influencing Justin. She wanted to be the only one infiltrating his mind. And Justin's like, look, Miss Mensa, what's your deal here? You're welcome to give me information. Thanks for all the help you've given me. But that doesn't mean to say that I can't take information from somebody else. Miss Mensa didn't like that. Miss Mensa doesn't like it when she can't control, manipulate you, or infiltrate your mind. So Miss Mensa got into an argument or a spat with this other person who was giving Justin information. And I just think to myself, whether the information that Justin's getting from this other person is true or not, and I speculate that some of it is just not true because I know how people love to manipulate this case. But I don't care. Justin is free to get information from whoever he wants. And he doesn't need someone breathing down his throat about whether or not he should be getting information from here, there, or anywhere. That's, you're trying to control someone and you don't even know them, Miss Mensa. I don't care where people are getting their information from. I only care that people are dragging a victim. That's all I care about. I don't even care what people's opinions are in terms of whether they think Chris is guilty or not, whether they think the mistress is involved or not. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion as long as they don't force it on me. But Miss Mensa was trying to force her doctrines about this case onto Justin, and didn't like that somebody else was giving her competition. Very, very controlling woman. And it's also very juvenile. We're not in high school. Justin is free to get information from wherever he wants. And like I said, I'm disgusted with some of the videos that Justin has put out about Shanann. I take issue with his misogyny and sexism. But I also think that some of the videos he's done are very, very powerful and very well put together. And I would never, even though I critique him and I've criticized him, I would never try and tell him what he should think or how he should feel or how he should be, where he should be getting his information from. So Miss Mensa put out, when she has a narcissistic injury, what she does is she goes on a rant on her community posts. And she's been doing that a lot lately. And she wrote, "Great video, Justin, except the shade you had to throw and putting my name in your title." She didn't like that at all. Yeah, like I've said before, we've seen it all before. I was actually hoping that you were above the crowd. So there you go. She's giving him the shade just because he was getting information from somebody else and somebody else was influencing him.